Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Kyle Wright 425 podcast. I am your host, Kyle Wright, and as always, I am joined by my older brother, Eric. If you're enjoying this, the show so far with what you've seen in previous episodes or just in that intro that I sort of nailed, then what we want you to do is we want you to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode, as well as follow us on Spotify. And if you feel like you aren't so inclined and if you're enjoying the show and want to push it forward and to support what we're doing, you can support us on Patreon and Anchor. Yep. So with that being said, Eric, the world is filled with people that think crazy shit. The world is filled with people that think crazy shit. Now, what do you think is the craziest conspiracy theory that you've heard from somebody? Like, or maybe read online, like something like you have heard, like maybe something that's not so intense, but like something that you're like, whoa, what is that thing?
Probably, I would say probably one of the craziest things would actually be either the lizard people thing or the cloning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got really into the cloning,
especially because of Eminem.
It wasn't even just Eminem.
What? Hey, Piper, get down. No,
kicking the camera.
No, hey.
Anyways,
pets are on a roll tonight.
Yeah.
Hey.
So that was probably one of the first like ridiculous things that I was like, yeah, right. And then I started looking at some stuff and I was like, oh shit. You know, so
yeah. It's really scary when those things start to have some facts to them, and have some evidence
evidence and make
back
sense.
it up. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, guys.
Oh yeah, we have to
address. We have to address something. So we talked about how I had a bucket list coming, and if it finally showed up, it was it took a little longer due to COVID, and you'll understand why. Now, trust me, guys. I understand this is completely ridiculous, obnoxious as fuck, and stupid, but I did it.
Yes, you did.
I got my grill.
Yes, you did.
So I'm going to make these stupid faces real quick. So rose gold, regular gold, and a diamond.
I might zoom in on that part for you. That way it's like, enhanced image. So, but no, it's we've been waiting for this thing to show up for God knows how long. But
a while.
Just because 2020 has sucked for every aspect of life. So it just made a delay. But
it was worth the wait. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely worth the wait. And again, I understand it's obnoxious. It does obscure my talking a little bit.
See, I actually forgot that you even had it in, so it's not that noticeable.
But I've only had it a little while. I haven't had it but like maybe a week, and I don't wear it all the time. It's not like I just sit in the house with it on. So it was, again, something.
He's lying. He's extra. Yeah, he does it all the time. I even saw him at one point eat Doritos with it. I told him to stop. It was horrible. They were nacho. They weren't even, the Cool Ranch that you could hide. So anyway,
no, it's one of those where it did take a while, yes, due to COVID, but it was just something that I wanted. I've always thought they were interesting. I always thought they were kind of cool, and I wanted it. But so I will probably plug the jeweler at the end. We can do this because they said they would want a clip or something. So
yeah, I'll make sure they also get a spot in the description as well too. So if you guys are interested in getting your own grill, if you like the way it looks, it is legit. It's a legit thing. So
so definitely
give me the option.
Yes, like I said, I'll do my whole spiel at the end about where it's from and then what my experience was like. But just to get it out of the way real quick, there it was. If it does sound like I'm talking stupid, again, I haven't really done a whole lot with it in. You're not really supposed to drink or do anything with it in, but I'm going to break the rule tonight.
Well, obviously the Doritos thing was a joke, but but the thing is, I think that when it comes to a liquid, it's probably way more, of a better choice rather than if you chewing on something. So.
Yes. No. So it was.
So like my brain just shut right the fuck off there. So, but no. I'm really interested to see.
So conspiracies. So
see how this goes.
What about you? Like, what was the craziest thing that you've heard that you were like,
So glad you asked. So many moons ago, one of my really good friends, Reese, who is actually Luke's uncle, he has a conspiracy theory. Now, I don't know if this is a legit thing because I've never really looked it up because I just thought about it, like, about an hour ago where I was like, I should say this because it's a lot of fun. This is not anything that holds like any kind of weight. This is not a government or like a, horrible, like underground, like, violent thing. Like this is literally just for fun, is that he believes that Skid Row was in fact using Kid Rock for vocals. Sebastian Bach couldn't hit what he was supposed to, so Kid Rock was actually the one that was doing all the vocals for Skid Row.
Like back in the day?
Yeah. And to which I believe his workaround with that was that I think because Luke was like, dude, he's like, he would be too young. And he went, exactly. He's like, his voice was that high. So yeah, that was again, it doesn't mean that it is or isn't, but like that was one of the very first things.
Interesting.
I was really exposed to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah. Kid Rock.
That's interesting. All right.
El Sebastian Bach. So
El Sebastian Bach.
Okay, so we're just gonna look up what's called it's just a list called the greatest celebrity conspiracy theories of all time. This is on Esquire. Again, the link will be in the description if you guys want to partake and read along. But essentially, this is what this article says. I love the guy that wrote this. This is awesome. It says, we live in a time where it's tragically impossible to separate conspiracy from fact, from fiction, from news, and the real world. Mm-hmm. Conservatives will call real news fake, while canon, no, you're not going to go over here. No. There's equipment over there. It says conservatives will call real news fake, while canon, QANON, while canon supporters peddle batshit conspiracy theories as government cover-ups at the highest level.
Oh, that's called QAnon or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. It's problematic. It's not healthy. But there is a long and fascinating history of conspiracies when it comes to celebrities in the entertainment industry. Sisters aren't actually sisters. Mothers aren't mothers. Pop stars are actually government operatives. It says reggae legends were killed by the CIA. Rappers are living in secrecy in Cuba, and it's all being controlled by an ancient international organization that claims to be working toward the greater good. These are the best, most shocking, most insane, most bullshit celebrity conspiracy theories of all time.
I also heard that Elvis was like, he worked with like the FBI and CIA, or like he was like a, so I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure some interesting things are going to be on here. So let's get right down to it.
Yeah, because we're only really familiar with the first one. So, which we're definitely going to discuss regardless. But this says Steve Jobs 2.0. Now, the original tweet that was featured in this was by a gentleman named Mike Sington, Sington. He has a picture of Steve Jobs sitting with an iPad on stage with his mic on and everything. So he's obviously doing a presentation. Next to that is a picture of Steve Jobs, or someone that looks like Steve Jobs, in Egypt, sitting outside at night. Looks like he's just chilling out, like, in the middle of like wherever, he was staying at. The theory is this. In mid-2018, nearly 7 years after he tragically died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 56, someone on Reddit posted an image of a man in Egypt who looks a hell of a lot like Steve Jobs. You need to go down. Give me that. We got some animal control. Hey, get down.
Like, she's fucking on one tonight.
She's not usually like this. She keeps it up. She'll go upstairs. But so the theory. A guy on Reddit posted an image of a man in Egypt who looks a hell of a lot like Steve Jobs. And it says, Steve Jobs hiding in Egypt after faking his death. The post title reads, the proof. While the guy does have the classic Steve Jobs thoughtful chin grab, some people have pointed out that he's not wearing an Apple Watch. Now ask yourself, If you were the head of a global technology corporation known for inventing a very identifiable wrist accessory, would you wear said watch after faking your own death and escaping to Egypt?
No, dude.
It says, who believes it? A few thousand anonymous people on Reddit, the Daily Mail, and anyone who camps outside of an Apple store before every new iPhone is released. So now this is not the first time that we have had something brought to our attention about a celebrity faking their death or the possibility of that.
Yeah.
However, I will say the only reason why I have a hard time believing this is because of the last few pictures of Steve Jobs.
He looked really bad.
Yeah, he looked
really bad.
And so if this is a real picture of Steve Jobs and if he is alive and well in Egypt, then that to me shows that he had lots of dedication to stick to the idea that it's like, he put him essentially Christian Bale'd himself, or it was all camera trickery. So, I mean, who knows? But
see, that one doesn't really like intrigue me as far as like a weird conspiracy for a celebrity, because he did have a sickness. He did. I mean, again, he could have just committed. Now, whether he was in it with some bad people, which, again, I don't know if we'll get on that tonight or not, on like some of the things I believe, but I have heard he was a part of the thing that I'm a big conspiracy theorist on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that he died,
and now he is away from everything. But so yeah,
but at the same time, that dude was sick. Like.
Yeah, it would take a lot more evidence for me to be able, because I'm sorry, but there's people that have looked like me, I've received pictures of, and people are like, dude, like, have you seen this? Like, what the hell were you doing in Cambodia or whatever? And I'm like, I wasn't, so actually it was my old buddy, JP, said that he went, I believe, to Mexico with his family. They went on vacation, and he said, dude,
somebody looked like you.
Dude, he said he met a guitarist that was on the beach of where they were at that looked exactly like me. And he said the only reason why he knew it wasn't me was because the guy had a very thick French accent. He was a tourist.
Maybe you could have just been faking. Like, I don't know you.
Man, if I were to dedicate myself to travel to Mexico just to fuck with JP, dude, like that is dedication. Okay.
That's awesome.
So I believe also because I was 19 at the time, so there was no way for me to even be able to make it. But
he doesn't know that.
This next one says she was a skater girl. The theory. Sometime between 2002 and now, Avril Lavigne died and was replaced by an actress.
I've heard that. Many a times, actually.
The proof says there are a number of before and after photos and show different marks on her body and an altered shape of her nose and face. Oh, and also clues in her lyrics from Avril actress trying to tell the truth to her fans.
See, again, when you start getting into this like conspiracy of like the hidden meanings behind songs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we've talked about this, how far is too far? Like, when is it too much? Like, so that being said, that whole Eminem thing was the same way. Mm-hmm. Now, here's my thing that people could argue with the Eminem thing with me, but I actually have a couple of like pieces that can like debunk it. But Avril Lavigne, I mean, she had money, so yeah, her nose might be different. Her cheeks might be different.
Right.
All these fucking celebrities get plastic surgery and Botox and all of this shit. Like, to me, for somebody to say that that they had like a different feature. Now, when we start getting into different features that I'm talking about, as far as like a nose or like a chin, you can operate. Now, again, you can operate on anything, but I've seen dead people's photos that had like completely different ears.
Yeah.
Like how the ear is shaped, like even in the inside, and they've drawn it out where it's like, okay.
Well, because wasn't it the thing about Eminem was his earring holes?
I was watching a dude and he was like bringing up stuff and I was like, what? No way. And then again, they were showing like before and after photos. Now, I know I just said you can have plastic surgery, but there was like a substantial difference in his face, like his all around face.
I actually mainly noticed the big difference in him when I watched the interview. Like that was like, he just like, there was something about him where I was like, this is Eminem.
He got in really good shape. So, I mean, like, I know that'll like, you know, make your face a little more chiseled and things like that. But the big thing that I was looking at when the dude pulled out a photo, like right after, it was like right after he got buff, basically, and he was like not dyeing his hair anymore.
Yeah.
And he didn't have his earrings in. And that was the thing is that I saw pictures and it wasn't even like, like a cover photo where they could like airbrush him out. It was like photos of him even close up and there was no puncture holes in his ears. And then the guy finally brought that up and I was like, okay, so I'm not fucking crazy. Right. And then in one of the songs he talks about like he had like apparently got in a really bad car accident in like 2004 or some shit. And then he said something about how they rebuilt his ass like the $6 million man and like all these like quote clues.
Right.
So that's really tough for me because you can have plastic surgery, but there was just a few things with Eminem's like actual like other appearances that made it weird. Avril Lavigne, I've heard that on numerous occasions that she's not the same person.
The only reason why that kind of freaks me out about her is that I don't remember like where I saw this, like if it was like on VH1 or if it was like Spike TV, if them like, you know, talking about the top 10, you know, this, or if it was I Love the 80s or something to that effect. But essentially what it was that Avril Lavigne was approached many, many times throughout her musical career to actually be an actress. And she said, no, she's like, I appreciate people wanting me to do this. And she's like, but I want to stick with music right now.
Yeah.
Then Over the Hedge came out and she played the young girl possum. And number one, did a fantastic job. Lend her voice. Like it was fantastic. But it's just really interesting to me that for a while she was just like, no, I'm good.
No. And then all of a sudden
there's this actress that now looks like Avril Lavigne or that is taking over her persona. And then it was like, hey, you can get some extra money if you do your voice for this film. It's like, okay, perfect. You know, so I mean, does that mean that Avril Lavigne is a clone? No. Does it mean that Avril Lavigne is an actress, is really an actress now? No. But, you know, in the same hand, too, is that there's a lot of evidence that could push towards that.
Yeah.
And this is where conspiracy theories get fun because it's like you can basically have that idea of that anything is possible.
Exactly.
You know? Let's see here. This says, Lord of Eternal Youth. No 20-year-old is this emotionally intelligent and has such a vested interest in grammar. That's because Lordy is actually a 40-something-year-old woman and who faked her age to sell herself as a young musical prodigy. I've never heard of Lordy.
I don't know who that is.
Lorde. So Lord, maybe Lordy. I don't know, either one. I know Lordy is a metal band, so I didn't want to like assume it was, you know, that kind of thing. But
never heard of this one.
So it says the proof. Along with her talent and her maturity that's well beyond her years, Lordy has shared birth certificate. That's got to be a typo. Says Lordy has shared birth certificate that looks pretty doctored by some accounts.
Okay.
It says
like dates, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it says, who believes it? To be honest, anyone who's unwilling to accept that Lordy is the best pop star of her generation, which to be clear is the millennial generation. So
I don't know who that is. Yeah.
No, that's unfortunate. But I mean, it's honestly with the picture. I mean, I understand that not everybody's going to be able to see this, you know, that well, but I mean, that's a picture of her. So I'm also going to show it to him too. I
don't know who that bitch is.
I wouldn't assume she's a bitch, but yes.
Well, if she's going to lie, bitch. No.
Isn't that the whole plot of that show Younger? That Mom loves, where it's like that 40-year-old woman that takes, like, she's in a show with Hillary Duff. Like, it was like where it's like she passes herself off as a 20-year-old and she's like a writer and they want to know how she can understand what it's like to be a mom and be all these things. Like she like anyway.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, yeah. So anyway,
I don't follow Hillary Duff.
I don't either, but show is kind of interesting. So, this one's about Stevie Wonder.
That he's not really blind.
Correct. It says, I just called to say I can see. The theory is this. It says Stevie Wonder, the legendary blind singer-songwriter, is not actually blind. He's been pretending for the last 6 decades for some reason.
Give me the proof. I want to know. Yeah, let's see if it's some of the same shit.
He frequently attends basketball games. He once caught a falling mic stand. And he is interested in photography and once took a photo. And he does other things typically reserved for people who can see.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm just like in shock right now. Like I never would have thought that about Stevie. I'm not saying it's true, but just like even the inclination that's, you know.
There's been a lot of celebrities that are go on like talk shows and they're like, Stevie's not blind. And the one dude, was it Kevin Hart? Was it Kevin Hart? Was like, go ahead. He's like, he ain't blind. He's just been playing. They talked about the mic stand. They actually showed a couple clips of certain things that he's done.
No, Stevie, no.
But I swear it was Kevin Hart on the Tonight Show or something a while back, and he was like, have him on here. Have him come sit down. He's like, put something stupid in front of him, like a what do you call that for your feet? Right there. What's that called?
Oh, ottoman.
Ottoman.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I didn't know you were literally pointing right there. Gotcha.
Yeah. He's like, put an ottoman in front of his, hey, bitch. He steps over it. He's like, we've seen it. We've seen him do shit like that.
Oh, Stevie. I mean, not that I know him personally, but damn it, Stevie. Like,
so I don't know. And that's a new one, a little bit of a new one for me. So I'm gonna. I'm gonna have to like.
I'm sorry. I just read the title for the next one.
What?
So I think we can all agree that there's a possibility that Stevie Wonder more than likely is not blind. That is a possibility.
Yeah,
it can be. One. However, Britney Spears, the George Bush operative.
What?
Oh yeah. Check this shit out. Excuse me. It says the theory. Britney was on the White House payroll. Every time the Bush administration screwed up, they distracted the sheeple with another Brit scandal. Check this out.
Weird.
The proof. On November 6, 2007, Britney Spears and Kevin Federline announced their split the day before the key midterm election. Who believes it? The part of the Venn diagram where Michael Moore, Britney Spears, and U.S. Weekly fans overlap.
What the fuck?
Oh, dude, that's funny.
There's also a conspiracy about Britney that there's a couple of them, and they actually had some proof with like video. It was an Instagram video, I think, like 6-8 months ago, and it was weirdly shot by like her bodyguard or something. She was like in her like one of her many like dining rooms, I'm assuming, in her fucking mansion.
Right.
But she was standing like on linoleum like that, but it was a big room and he was just walking around in a circle. She was standing still, but she was standing there singing. And they said that her voice is doctored. Not that she can't sing, that she's still a good singer, but that they speed her voice up and give her a higher pitch. Because the video looked, it was almost like they were trying to show you the video looked sped up while he was, because again, he was just like walking in this circle. And then they said, let's slow it down to a normal pace. She's more of like a bass. She's got a very deep like voice.
That's so weird.
So again, there's a lot of scandal. Like there's a lot of weird scandal, like conspiracies about her, but that was
my phone's over there. I keep trying to grab it.
That's another interesting one. So I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, because this is kind of like the way that they said that Onision did all the shit that he did on like with when all the like for anybody that doesn't know anything about Onision, which I don't know if you're on YouTube, I assume you would have to know something about him. But like when all the stuff was happening with like his children, like when like horrible like stuff was happening, like not that he was being abusive or whatever, but I think neglect was a very big thing there.
Part of it, yeah.
All the while stuff like that, and then also with him living in a polyamorous relationship with like his wife and everything, or now husband, and he was trying to distract everything from that. He would make videos that were appalling, that were so bad that it was just like people were more focusing on the art that he's making rather than what's going on in his personal life. Like that's the fucked up thing, is that it works. Like, it's like people are like, it's like you give the public something to focus on, they'll only focus on that.
Yeah.
And it's something we've been seeing that evident throughout this whole year. So it's just, which.
Oh, buddy.
I'm dancing pretty close to the line. I know. I know. So, but almost said it's a Britney Spears video. Fuck.
It's Britney, bitch.
Leave Britney alone. So, yeah. This next one. I love this one. Because it couldn't be a nicer guy. Keanu Reeves in his excellent everlasting life. The theory.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Keanu Reeves is an immortal soul who has lived thousands of years through a number of famous identities.
Have you seen the photos?
They've got the photo right here. Dude, he does not look that different. It's like he looks like he maybe has just gained some weight since then.
Well,
like
that's from that says 2008. But what I'm saying is that there's like older photos, like black and white, of like
him, Nicolas Cage, and like all
there's these people that are like
vampires. Like
yeah.
Oh my Lord,
that's crazy. But that's not true. Like it's Keanu, dude.
Look, all I'm saying.
He's like, hear me out.
All I'm saying is that, look, okay, so whenever people have asked me, like, hey, like, do you believe, like, in, crazy, outrageous stuff? It's like Loch Ness, absolutely. Bigfoot, 100%. Santa Claus, I believe there's a way. It's just not the way that we think. It's like the Easter Bunny, I don't want to run into him. Okay, like, it's all those things. So I believe anything is possible. Now, I'm not going to preach that those things are real. But what I will say is that immortality is something that is so everybody looks at, everybody wonders about, everybody wonders what it would be like to be immortal. And it's something that has always crossed my mind, where it's like, what if, it doesn't really affect us any, it's not something that we have to be like, they're a witch burner. Like it's not like anything like that. It's just like, he's immortal, dude. He's chilling, and he's immortal. He's the internet's boyfriend. Like it's fine, dude. Like dude, I love me some Keanu Reeves, dude. He's the man.
Yeah, dude. He is the man.
Oh shit. This next one. It says, is this murder? The theory. The CIA murdered Bob Marley because he and other reggae musicians were working to alert the public of the CIA's attempt to bring down Jamaican Prime Minister Michael Manley. The proof. This exhaustive High Times article, which notes that Carl Colby, son of the late CIA director William Colby, visited Marley in 1976. Who believes it? Anyone who just tried their first edible. That's funny. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, because obviously if the fact that this guy actually visited Bob Marley, it's like, this is a guy from the CIA that doesn't, nobody just from the CIA just visits somebody. Like that's,
right.
That's, you kind of have some, rules to follow with that. But in the same hand, I don't know. It's like, this one's not that influential on my thinking, but in the same hand, it's kind of like maybe, it's like it's
definitely possible. Yes,
because I can't even remember how Bob Marley even supposedly passed away. If this is true, like the supposable like thing of like how he died.
He overdosed, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay,
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Man, that's unfortunate.
I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Imagine if Bob Marley was still alive today, man, making music. That'd be ridiculous. Be perfect.
Yeah.
This one says Beyonce, mother part 1, not a sister. Don't know what that means. It says Beyonce, born in 1981, is actually Solange Knowles, born 1986, mother. Or Knowles. It's Knowles. The Knowles family covered up Beyonce's early pregnancy by claiming they were sisters. The proof. Beyonce was actually born in 1974 because her family also faked her birth certificate. Who believes it? The writers of Lifetime original movies.
Wait, what the fuck? Damn.
That's kind of involved. Like that's really like to me, I feel like that had to be dug. Like you had to dig really deep with that one. But
see, I've just always heard that
we're gonna skip part 2 of that because I really don't care about Beyonce. So
I really don't either. And more than anything, I heard she's a fucking lizard, and
like Justin Bieber's a lizard. I've seen the clip. It's scary
with the eyes, like how they blink. Did you see that one? With Beyonce.
No, not with Beyonce. No, I saw the one with Bieber.
Yeah, that's fucked up. So yeah, she's not old. She's just a fucking dinosaur.
She's not human. This says Cuba Love. The theory.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Actually, no, I don't think so. Nope. It says Tupac's death was an elaborate hoax so the artist could escape to Cuba from his increasingly dangerous celebrity status. The proof. The shooters were never found.
Nope.
Suge Knight was never hit. Suge Knight was never hit. Pac always wore a bulletproof vest. The man who cremated Tupac retired immediately afterward. See, that is sketchy as hell.
See, so
unless that was just his time to retire, but in the same hand, that's interesting.
So no, here's a couple other interesting things. Is that there's more to it. I'm not going to get too involved because I mean it's not everybody's cup of tea. But even when I was younger, there was weird shit that like before the internet was like a big thing. Rotten.com.
I do remember Rotten.com.
Had his autopsy photo. And I'm pretty sure I showed Alan and I had a couple other people. He was missing tattoos. He was missing tattoos on his body.
See, I've heard that one consistently.
And not only that, but then how Suge really didn't get hit. Pac for some reason he changed his clothes after this altercation at a Mike Tyson fight in Vegas, and then like right when they left, they were in this Mercedes that I'm pretty sure that was the other thing too, is he wasn't even in the original car that he normally was in that was like bulletproof or something too. But I know that for a fact he didn't have his bulletproof vest on for some reason, which was weird. So, and then he was shot like several times. Well, I don't know. It just always seemed really odd. But and then he right at that time is when the Machiavelli album came out. He was really into the Machiavelli book when he was in jail. So like he read that like front to back several times, and he always talked about how he was gonna like come back like Machiavelli. Basically, that was his like alter ego.
Yeah.
So there was like all these weird like things, but again, kind of like what it is now. He was one of those people that was kind of trying to expose like the darkness of like Hollywood and music and all this stuff. And I feel like maybe he just was like, I'm out.
So I mean, because let me say this is that I know that from when I was a kid that you were talking with Mom, and I don't know why Mom would be talking about Tupac, but essentially it was this idea that we were standing in the kitchen on Sheldon, and you were just like, it may have been when we moved after that, but regardless,
on Metzger,
yeah. Basically, what it was that excuse me, you were like, dude, you're like, I don't think Tupac's dead. I don't think Tupac's dead.
I go back and forth now, but yeah.
And she said, what do you mean? And you were like, dude, like a couple of his tattoos were missing. I saw the autopsy. You know, it's like this is like,
and it was real. Like it was a real person.
Yeah, that's so. It's one of those things where that has always been kind of prevalent in my mind whenever I think about Tupac, where I'm kind of like, okay, like, you know, maybe he is alive somewhere, or maybe he was alive for a while and has since passed away. He's been able to, you know, live a normal life after that, you know, and not have to worry about everything. But
there's been other like videos and that people have said that they've seen Tupac in like new music videos and stuff like that. But I mean, there's a lot of lookalikes, man.
Here's the thing too. I can't, I'm hoping I'm getting this right, but Shelley Duvall swears up and down that she has talked to Robin Williams.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was Robin Williams. I'll correct myself later in the description if I can't. I don't because I want to be like surfing on my phone, but essentially what it was that she was just like, oh, she's like, I talk to Rob all the time. And it was
really?
so it was one of those things where it's like, is she losing it, or is this legit? Like, has she really talked to Robin? Like, and if so, then why would Robin fake his death?
Well, and here's another thing too, is that apparently Jada Pinkett Smith was like really good friends with Tupac. That was like her best friend, like her brother. Will Smith even admitted that he was like intimidated by Pac and their relationship at the beginning. And then there was supposedly like letters.
Almost fall.
There was supposedly like letters of, was it Willow Smith? One of the kids supposedly writing Pac, like telling him to like stop pretending and like respond to mom like she's worried about you, like, and she cries all the time. Yeah, like there's been some, like, and again, anybody could have wrote that, you know, but
anything's possible to be fake.
But at the same time, like, why, man, I'll be on this all day. We got to get to the next one. So it's just there's a lot of hard evidence that depicts that he is dead, and then there's a lot of hard evidence that says that he's not. It's fucking weird.
Now, I went ahead and skipped a few because there were people that I know for a fact we're not going to know who they are. But this one I have heard before, and it's actually kind of freaky. This says a moon landing Odyssey. I don't know if you know where this is going to go, but this says the theory.
That the moon landing was fake?
The moon landing was fake, but check out who they said directed it. 1 year after he filmed the sci-fi classic 2001: A Space Odyssey, the U.S. government hired Stanley Kubrick to fake the moon landing in 1969.
I've always heard that.
The proof. Though Kubrick's daughter and all-known science has proved otherwise, filmmaker Patrick T. Murray claims to have a video confession from the filmmaker days before his death in 1999. Of course, my first question would be then, why hasn't it been made public then? It says, who believes it? People who watch too many Stanley Kubrick movies. Here's what I will say about like what I know about Stanley Kubrick. I mean, obviously from one, you know, I don't want to say one director to another because I'm not a certified director. I mean, I know obviously how to film things. I got a job doing so. So, I mean, like that's something, but one on a, you know, vague sense is that one director to another, Stanley did so many amazing things just with 2001: Space Odyssey. And it's like, I would be able to look at him and go, well done. If this is legit and if this is real, because it's like, it's just, he did so many things in Space Odyssey that nobody had ever done before. And it's especially like getting to see the, for instance, the whole spacecraft when the one character is walking through the whole like donut, and how he figured out how they could film that to where it looked like it was in zero gravity, but it wasn't. Like that is mind boggling. So if there ever was somebody
that could have done it,
Kubrick was the only person that I think could have done it at that point and would have done it and could have fooled anyone, because people were losing their minds over Space Odyssey. They didn't know that even anything like that could ever be done.
See, I am a firm believer that, I mean, we've been to the fucking moon. I don't think it was when they said it was, though.
So yeah, so the idea that space travel is absolutely real, you just think that they faked it for that moment
because they wanted us to be the first one, because I believe it was Russia was like right on our ass.
Yeah, and especially when you understand how much more genius Russia was. Like, I mean, it's something to be intimidated by.
But I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Is that was the conspiracy part of it, was that Russia was like right on the heels of beating it, like they were ready to go.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden we were like, nope, just kidding, we got it. So yeah, I don't know. I have always thought that the moon landing was fake.
I have some reasons to think that it's fake, mainly because of just some small details that are in the video. Now, I've not watched the moon landing in a long time, so I'm not going to claim that I know everything about every pixel of it. However, flags do not flap in zero gravity. And that I'm sorry, but they don't. That is a complete contradiction of everything that comes with the way that physics work. Now, again, it's been a while since I've seen the video, so maybe it's not as prevalent as I thought. Like, I mean, maybe it's not. It doesn't do the whole like flapping thing the whole time. Like it
doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much it flaps. It's not flapping.
There should be no flapping. If anything, you should have to compensate for the zero gravity to go, all right, here we go. But in the same hand, we've also never walked on the moon, so we don't know what's normal. We've never walked on the moon.
People still have now. And like, we know how gravity does and doesn't work when it comes to that. It's 2020. They know. And I'm telling you right now, we did not go to the moon when we said we did.
Yeah, I will never say that out loud as far as like if it being legit, because I don't know. There's other things I think that could possibly prove it to be a legit thing, but I'm not going to fight you. That's like, it's because there's so much evidence. There's so much damning evidence against the idea that we landed on the moon with the footage that we have.
Yeah.
So that's all it comes down to is just that footage.
So, and that's the thing, is that like that one has always like irked me.
Yeah.
Because it's not the fact that we didn't and we haven't. It's the fact that we lied. I'm a true believer that we did not go when we said we did.
Well, especially to the it wasn't the live stream that I finally gritted and watched, but it was the full International Space Station tour. And when they because I was watching the inside and I was kind of like, okay, I'm like, maybe this was faked, or this was real. Like, I don't know. Cause it's not that we're not really, in space right now. Like there's clearly people that work on the space station. It's how they do what they do. So it's like, that's not what I'm saying, but it was for this video in particular. I was kind of like, okay, I'm like, I want to know like how I can tell if this is legit. Then they went to the dome underneath of the space station, where they said that the guy in particular that was doing the tour said that this is actually one of their favorite places to go just to unwind and relax. Mm-hmm. Like if they after a day of working or whatever, and it's right above the Earth. And he pulled himself down and he was like, yeah, if you want to bring the camera down, he's like, go ahead and check this out. He's like, this is where we he's like, he's like, it's not that new to us now, but he's like, but when you first get up here, he's like, it's one of the most amazing, wild things to see. And it's flawless. They're like that is not faked. That is a real thing.
Oh, right.
So it's like that is something that you can look at and know for a fact that is real.
Yeah.
The, thousands of pounds of water, jugs that they're moving throughout the spaceship or whatever. Like, in fact, we can say spaceship, but it's like they're weightless, and they're moving them, and like they're showing, the way that they, dispose of all their waste and how they recycle their urine, and that's how they have their water. Like there's so much about it where you're like, okay, this is legit. This is a real thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that. Like you said,
I don't even have to spray her. She just knows.
you can tell the difference in that. And again, obviously the cameras and stuff, when we quote landed on the moon, were a lot different than now. But
By the way, anybody that was listening on Spotify, I was talking about the cat. Yeah, so we have a spray bottle. So so it's like we don't even, like I said, we don't have to spray her. Like I just like pointed at her and she's like, dad's pissed. So
yeah, no, I think you're right. It's just there's night and day difference. So
yeah, but as far as Stanley Kubrick doing it, I would completely believe that. It's not that far off of a theory. So
am I still on?
What?
Am I still on?
Oh yeah, you're fine. This says Katie JonBenet Perry. The theory. JonBenet Ramsey was not murdered in 1996 and actually grew up to be the multi-platinum recording artist Katy Perry. The proof. Overlapping photos of Katy Perry and JonBenet Ramsey. Overlapping photos of Katy Perry's parents and JonBenet Ramsey's parents. Who believes it? This one guy.
It's only one dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, JonBenet Ramsey has always been one of those things that's like just kind of been like a really disturbing thing that it like happened. Like it was like it's so outlandish and so ridiculous. And
see, I also heard she was part of the Pizzagate.
See, there's so like. Yeah,
I've heard that she was part of that whole, like, you know,
now that you've said that, and now that I think about everything that happened with that, it just makes it more plausible and more fucked up.
Now that whole, like, you know, Katy Perry thing, I've heard weird things about Katy Perry too. Like, it's such a shame because she's so good looking and she's got good music, but.
Yeah, actually, you know what? E.T. is one of my favorite songs that was like big at that point. Like she just like can't make bad music. And like as far as like her hits are concerned, like, they're just good.
And you know, it's just one of those, like, it's unfortunate because I feel like she's not one of the good ones, to be honest with you. But
I mean, we can always hope, you know.
That is interesting with the JonBenet, whatever you want to call it.
JonBenet Ramsey.
Yeah, like as far as, you know, her and Katy Perry. That's very interesting, though. I might have to look into that a little bit.
This next one is actually something that my friend Buck actually brought to my attention. This is the theory. It says Paul McCartney was killed in a car crash in 1967 and replaced by a lookalike.
Yep, I've heard that.
The proof. Playing Revolution 9 backwards, various song lyrics, various album covers, and hundreds of other clues found by fans over the decades. So little hidden, you know, subliminal messages and stuff that are put in there. Who believes it? At this point, probably Paul McCartney. This is where when you can say that an actor has been replaced, or like, you know, like, and then they conveniently retire or something to that effect, I will probably believe that over a musician being replaced by somebody. And the reason is because, so like when I hear this, my first reaction is, okay, so you're telling me that you didn't know that Paul McCartney was going to die. Paul McCartney died. You had somebody on the back burner that looked just like him.
Just so happened to have him sitting around.
That not only looks like him, talks like him.
And sings like him.
Sings like him, which is, okay, that is not that big of a, like, you know, at the grand scheme of things, there are people that can do impressions of people that is phenomenal. So that's not what I'm saying. The motherfucker writes like Paul McCartney. Now, again, we've talked about it. We do not necessarily enjoy the Beatles. We don't listen to the Beatles. Like, that's, you know, so it's like, but they've written every famous chorus that has ever existed in the history of music. Like,
you got to respect it. Like, you have to respect it at least.
I'm sorry, dude. Like, I can't believe that Paul McCartney has been replaced. Like, I can't. Like, there is so much evidence that points towards the fact of him being legit Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
I can't. It's ridiculous.
You know, and the thing is that when it comes to replacements or like clones or, you know, anything like that, again, I always think about that, like, what is too far? And like, it is, again, any of these conspiracies, it's the same thing, but sometimes you just have evidence. And like you said, he's not going to, he's not going to write like Paul McCartney. You can't duplicate things like that. Now, again, unless the Beatles weren't really writing their music then.
See, okay, then that opens up a whole new door. I'm sorry, but I have a very hard time believing that the four of them were the start of something huge. Like, it's like, it's just that because unless if that's a legit thing, then it's like maybe they wanted music to be controlled from the very beginning of like what would make it big for this new thing.
Dude.
I mean, this is the thing with conspiracies is that you can take it anywhere. You can literally do anything with it. You can say that life itself is a conspiracy if you go back far enough. It's insane. But it's funny that you bring up something about maybe music being controlled or anything to that effect, because this says, I'm going to try my best. This is a bonus one. It says, illuminate Gate Ghazi. Illuminate Gate Ghazi. And it says, the theory. Basically, all celebrities are members of the Illuminati, which, according to its own website, is an elite organization of world leaders, business authorities, innovators, artists, and other influential members of this planet who are tasked with ensuring the survival of every human on the planet. The proof, literally everywhere. Who believes it? If you have to ask. That's all that it says. I have heard for years about the Illuminati, like as a kid, like people bringing it up, and it's just, I think it's ridiculous that people think that the Illuminati is fake. Like and not even in the idea that there's 100% concrete proof that it is real. There's there's been no like full admittance like of something that's mainstream of people it
won't.
Right. But basically what they're saying that the Illuminati is that it is a group of people that essentially want to do something big and influential, whether it is good or bad, and they have tasked together enough people to do it. You think that's impossible? It's not.
No.
It's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible. The thing about the Illuminati is, hey, lick your dick somewhere else.
This is television, okay, or YouTube rather. So they don't allow for groin licking, especially on yourself. So, I just said that.
The Illuminati is something that has always intrigued me.
Yeah.
The situation at hand is like to me now, like the situation at hand is something completely different than just the Illuminati.
And I think the Illuminati is too small. And
it is. I think the Illuminati is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to like shady things in the government, in the world, in the anything. When I used to think of the Illuminati was just this like group of like powerful people. What I mean by powerful people is like music industry, the entertainment in general, entertainment, or anybody, like you said, in higher powers that people listen to, like major corporations. Like look at Bill Gates, look at Steve Jobs. Like I really truly believe that they are part of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
They are working towards that. Now, the biggest thing for me is this whole Illuminati thing is becoming a little more light to people I guess we'll touch on it a little bit tonight, is the Pedogate thing or the Pizzagate thing. Pedogate, it's all the same
both,
thing.
yeah.
It's both. Yeah. But the Pizzagate thing is something that none of you motherfuckers really want to like admit. I don't know why. I've been on this shit for years, and people just think you're crazy. You guys out there can think I'm crazy all you want. It does not matter if you have kids or don't have kids. Like this goes beyond that. This stuff right here, there is concrete evidence of this shit. It's right in front of your face. It is right in front of your face, and it's fucking disgusting. This is the thing that irritates me, is that it is the Illuminati that is taking over this. This is part of what it is. And if you don't, I'm going to stop it right there because I'll get way too into it, but research it. Honestly, take 30 minutes of your night and look up Pizzagate and Frazzle Drip and the life insurance and tell me I'm wrong.
This is what
that's next episode. I want to see comments underneath and tell me that I'm wrong. If you've made it this far, that means you have listened.
You're invested.
Yeah. And I want you to tell me Wayfair's fucking retarded, that the $66,000 worth of pizza and hot dogs and the comment and all. Tell me I'm wrong, dude. Tell me. And you know what? You can't. I will fire back with all of the evidence I have on the thing I'm recording right now. So that being said, a little rant there.
Don't worry, I'll pull the reins for you. It's okay.
But the Illuminati is definitely real.
No, and here's the thing too, is that for anybody that has any kind of thing to say about Pizzagate for it not being real or that there's not, okay, you need to fucking chill. Is again, the cat, for anybody that's listening on Spotify, everything's good now. So for anyone that's like, oh, none of that's real. Okay. So you're telling me that child and human trafficking is impossible. You're telling me that molestation is impossible. You're telling me that all these things have not happened. So they do happen. And when there is human trafficking that does exist, there are these things that do exist. There are crazy people out there that believe certain things will do certain things, even if it's completely whacked out. I have seen videos, you have seen videos of snuff films. You have literally seen somebody get their head cut off while they scream and their life leaves their body.
Yes.
I have seen from my days of bangedup.com and all those things of people being cut in half with chainsaws. Like human beings are horrible. Yeah. They are absolutely horrible. And so it's like, well, you can take the avenue of saying that maybe Pizzagate itself is not real. You cannot deny the fact that there are organizations that exist on this planet that are dedicated to attacking and kidnapping children.
Yeah.
There are organizations out there that are
adults.
And adults. Like the snuff film, side of things, Faces of Death, all that stuff. That stuff has happened. That stuff is real. And it's like, there's times that you've brought things to me about Pizzagate where I'm like, look, this is what I think about this. I'm not necessarily going to say that this clip is real. However, all the evidence that you've brought me before this, absolutely.
Right.
Just because Tom Hanks is standing in front of a lock that's different than or the hinges or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that clip is fake. What I can tell you is the fact that him and his wife have just now conveniently become, citizens of Greece, where pedophilia is now considered to be a sexual orientation. I'm sorry, that's the evidence speaks for itself. That's a simple Google search. You can find all these informations and all the guidelines of what Greece says. Now, in the same hand, if there was ever evidence to be brought out that would contradict everything that has been said, and it would have to be substantial, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Prove me wrong.
That is something to me that is. It's whether or not you have a biblical aspect of things, whether or not you have a psychology view of things, whether or not you have a Buddhist way of things, any way that you can think, there is nothing that is hidden that will not one day be revealed. And it's whether it is after your death or whether or not it is beforehand, it will be brought out into the open. So any person that's out there that thinks that they can hide anything from the public eye, especially being a celebrity, it won't be. Eventually it will. Eventually it will. Whether it's 100 years or 5 years.
Yeah. When you're a celebrity, I don't know how they get away with it for so long, but I guess to wrap this part up is that, that you kind of hit the nail on the head with, just he randomly or conveniently is moved, all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes around, guys. And again, you don't have to have kids to feel for this. I have seen things, and I'm not bragging about it by any means. And I actually have things that I've screenshotted on my phone I probably shouldn't have.
Which I will request you to not describe what they are, but that's only because I saw one of the things once and I'm like, and this is the last time you will ever show me anything like this ever again.
That's the only reason I take screen caps or something of that is because these things start disappearing.
They do. And that's the only reason I would ever condone having something like that is because what if you're the only person that one day.
Like, oh no, there it is.
Right.
And I know I'm not, but that's the thing is that if everybody thought that way, then it wouldn't ever exist. Oh, well, Ted has it. So
right.
Now that's the thing is that some things that we have seen or even just heard are disgusting.
Yeah.
Fucking disgusting. And that's the thing is try to prove that I'm wrong and I will come at you with more things that prove it. So that being said, conspiracies are probably one of the biggest things everybody argues and debates about other than government.
And this is the thing too, is that
sorry, I had to stop it there.
No, I know. No, very, very plainly, I do not want this to become an argument channel. But in the same hand, what I will say is that, like, for instance, there's been times before that, for instance, the 911 call video that's got 30,000 views on my channel. People love it. I get consistently 200 views a week. I think it's great that people love it. I have been ripped apart. I have been sent messages of like, how dare you say this is real or whatever. And then I've done my research and it's like, okay, you know what? You're right. This is not real. How about we leave it up to your interpretation of what you think could possibly be real? And this is where the idea of that, it's like, I'm willing to accept the fact that I can be wrong. I'm like about anything. It's like, if you can bring me something that says that I am wrong, and that is not done with a bias, but is done with, look, dude, like, it's like that. Like my favorite moments happen when the truth does nothing but reveal itself. And it's just like, and it's not necessarily something that you necessarily have to enjoy or something that you will have to like, it's like, and sometimes it's that shame of like, shit, I was wrong.
And I hope it's like, like, please prove me wrong.
Right.
Like, honestly, because the shit that we've seen, I've read, I've documented, whatever. Yeah. It's terrible. So, yeah.
That is. So once again, and the thing is too, is that people are like, people, get, up in arms about it, or they, they feel like very strongly about it, which by the way, like I completely agree with. But, I think the way that I put it to you at one point was I said, look, this is either going to have everything to do with us as the general public, or it's going to have nothing to do with us. And it's one of those things where like, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but like, I can't put myself in the situation mentally to feel that I am responsible or that I am capable of doing anything about this, because this is so much bigger than us. This is so much bigger than everything that we understand, from Epstein Island to everything else that's gone on with all, like, this is so much bigger, and there's nothing that we can do. The only thing that we can do is wait, spread the information that people have. If there's like, cause like people that have released anything that they have, it's like they've done it in a way where, like, number one, no one's going to believe anyone anyway. That's why I'm not afraid to talk about this, because it's one of those things where it's like saying, something, so ridiculous that someone's like, dude, they're idiots. It's like Noah in the ark. It's like, no one's going to give a shit about the fact. It's like Noah's with his family building his ark, a flood's coming. It's like, so it's like whether or not a flood actually comes is irrelevant in this moment.
Right.
It's the idea that it's like, you have to decide for yourself what you're going to believe and what you're not going to. And then also what you're going to subject yourself and what you're not going to subject yourself to, because this is where people get stuck in a rabbit hole that is the internet. And it's a horrible place to be. If people that have given Lee Winnell, James Wan, John Carpenter, or like, anybody else that has been a horror creator, and they look at them, and specifically Lee Winnell, was that people were appalled by what he wrote in Saw 1 through 3. And he basically retorted with, have you looked up what humans have done to each other in the past 100 years alone, during slave times, during medieval times?
Where he got all the stuff from. Yeah,
he's like, you haven't even scratched the surface. When you look at Saw films with The Rack or with anything else that we put into this, he's like, what humans have done to each other in the past is nothing. Or sorry, Saw, it's nothing compared to what people have done to humans or other people in the past.
Oh, right.
So it's like, that's why it's so mind-boggling to me whenever somebody hears something horrible It doesn't like let's get off the Pizzagate thing. It's like, it's like anything else. Like when somebody hears like, the way that Ed Gein, like, harvested, women and like, I don't know if it was men too, but it's like, how he was either a cannibal or wasn't. And then Albert Fish, who was a cannibal. Then you have Ted Bundy who attacked women. And then you've got Jeffrey Dahmer who also was a cannibal. So those guys can exist and be in the mainstream media, and everybody knows about them, and they were convicted and they were put away for their crimes that were proven to in fact be real.
But this isn't
real.
Right.
It's like that to me, that if I can be very plain, that's the moment that I look at it. I'm like, you are a closed-minded fuck. Yes. I'm sorry. Like that is, and it's not because of the fact that it's not because it's real or not. It's the fact of that it's uncomfortable. So you're pushing it away.
Exactly.
Now, if
you don't want to see it.
Now, if this is something that you do not want to be around or want to be, want to be even in the realm of thinking of, don't involve it or don't involve yourself in it. Don't like, this is like, it's not something to tread lightly on.
Yeah.
It's not, that's, I don't know. I feel like I'm on a soapbox, but but in the same hand, it's like, I have the open mind to believe pretty much anything. And it's what makes it have water for me is if it does in fact hold water. Is that if like I want evidence, I want to know something that this is the case where it's like, see, it's like this person's like, wearing this ankle bracelet. It's like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Because it's like it's kind of like Wayne from Letterkenny. It's like, if you're gonna nut up, you better nut up, man. It's like, if you're gonna stick this landing, you better stick this landing. Don't even falter. It's like, like that's the moments that I look at it where I'm like, no, that picture's not real. This one is real, but this one you're grasping at straws here. You're looking for anything.
Yeah,
like I try my best to be as open as possible to believe anything, but also let the skeptic in me do enough to be able to push off what is unnecessary. Because of the fact that it's like, especially dealing with like hauntings and stuff that we've all three of us have dealt with, is that just because I hear a noise in the middle of the night doesn't mean that it's a demon.
Yeah.
And it's like, now if you investigate everything, like if your 60-pound door slammed shut and you're home alone, number one, I think you should be more concerned about an intruder. But secondly, is that it's like, okay, there is no way this could have happened without anybody else. How did this physically happen?
Yes.
And I feel like that's the best way that you can go about that, is that with anything, is that if the evidence points towards the truth that is uncomfortable, then that's more than likely what's actually going to be. And it's, not everything is going to be what you want. Like, I love it when people are just like, well, that can't happen because that's horrible. Or it's like, oh, I don't like thinking. It's like, really? It's,
only good things can happen.
Trust me, I love good stories, man. I love hearing about people that do some awesome shit. I love people that, that actually like the guy that dove into the cold, frigid water when the plane landed on the water and he helped get people to safety. And he was like, hey, I just did what anybody else would do. And it's like, no, you were the only one that jumped in, man.
Yeah, no, nobody else did.
Right. So it's stuff like that. Like I love hearing all aspects of everything, because it's like it exposes things that either that I have thought of for a long time, or it encourages me to realize that the human race really isn't that bad after all.
Right.
And it's like even like Keanu Reeves, who like has, proven time and time again that he's just a genuine dude.
He is.
It's like, and it sucks because it's like, we have to exist in a place where it's like both of those things exist, where it's like you have the worst of humanity, but you've also had the best of humanity.
And that's what makes you like, oh.
Right. But.
All right. So real quick, guys, after all that being said, I told them that I would give a little spiel here. So, going back to my bucket list here, this was Dayani Jewelers, Texas. So I had two places I was looking at. One of them is for people that know, you just know TV Johnny Dang. He just didn't have what I liked, honestly. And that's where like a lot of the like rappers and like all that stuff go to. But Dayani Jeweler is another one that was really comparable. I actually prefer their website and their product over Johnny Dang. I don't know why, but they were awesome. So Downey Jeweler was great. They had great customer service. They got back to me all the time. I had questions. So they really were awesome through even this COVID thing. And
right, which by the way, in the beginning when I was talking about the delay, like that was not on them. That was a strict like COVID thing.
Correct.
Like it's just been the bullshit of that. So
if you want to check them out, so here it is, Downey Jeweler. You can Google them, and then on their Instagram is Authentic Grills, and they are awesome. They did all of this for me in a couple of weeks. The process was very simple. It was more than anything just a waiting game because I don't live in Texas. So Downey Jeweler, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. I love it. Like I said, it's obnoxious. It is what it is. I knew what I was getting myself into. So there you go, guys.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man. I'm about it. But nevertheless, though, this has been a more edgy episode. I've enjoyed it. This has been fun. We get to kind of crack the layers and go back. 'Cause I'm never going to do the whole political thing, but I will. No. But I'll tell you what, though, I will talk about what's going on, though. It's like like where I'm at.
We'll get back to this again.
Yeah,
definitely. So all right, guys. Well,
nevertheless, though,
I have to piss.
Yeah, you go ahead and take your pee, and we'll go ahead and end this strong. So once again, if you guys have enjoyed what you're seeing here, and you enjoyed the crazy antics and the conversations that happen between me and my older brother, then that means that you need to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell. That way you get a notification every time that we upload a video, which is every Monday at 5 p.m. and every Friday at 11 a.m., as well as the 11 a.m. schedule is also connected to Spotify. So that way if you want to... if you want to listen to the audio version of what we put up instead of the video, then you go ahead and do that. But if you want the video version where all the cool stuff happens, you can see what we say or how we say it or how things go, you can do that. So if you want to support the show, you can support us on Patreon and also on Anchor. Regardless, even if you don't do those things, liking and commenting and subscribing and just watching, we appreciate every single one of you. We appreciate you guys just doing your thing. So.
Yeah, just click more so I can buy another obnoxious grill. Come on, guys. You know how this works. I need fucking money for this.
Yeah, how can I afford all these diamond-studded, swimming pools and these solid gold Humvees? That was a Weird Al Yankovic line. But all right,
guys.
Thank you guys very much for sticking around this long. If you have, we'll talk to you guys later. Adios.